Welcome to part 3 of our 4-part series on our asbestos models, guys. As you can see, that is exactly what you're going to be making by the end of this video. It's simply a quick example to show you how you can make a 3D asbestos enclosure with our models. There's a couple of quick and easy ways to get a reference image into Blender. I'd just like to go down to my file, drag and drop in an image. If you've got your image selected and you go up to the top right, I'm just adding in the rotation of the X, Y, and Z axis. That's how everything works on this program. All you want is for it to be laying flat. So X axis 360 degrees and 0 on the Y and Z. Then simply hit S to scale the drawing. I'm just going to load in a quick cube. You can do that with Shift A, Mesh, and then just select Cube. The reason for this is simply just to scale the drawing. A cube is 2 meters by 2 meters by 2 meters, a standard. So it's a simple object you can just quickly import just to check the scale on anything that you're working with. Just a quick flash into the future. If you select the drawing, the image itself, and go down to object data properties and just move the opacity down, just check the box and move the opacity down, you get a much more transparent image that you can more easily work on. Just make sure that the Architect add-on is enabled, guys. Just head on up to the top left, edit, preferences, and type in Archimesh. You're about to find out exactly how it's spelled down in the description, and then you just tick the box. That enables the add-on, and then we'll have a new Create tab. If you see here on the right, it will give us an entire new tool set. I'm just playing around with the views at the moment. On the number pad, if you tap 1, that's the front view, 3 is the side view, 7 is the top view. 7 is going to be the view that we're going to be using for most of this video. Now if you go over to the top right and you tap room, that's going to generate a wall for us to use. If you then tap G and then X, you can then move it on the X axis. So that keeps it nice and level with the drawing, and then you press G and Y and then you can move it on the Y axis and just put it into place. That second set of numbers there that I've just increased, that's the wall width. The first set of numbers there is the wall height. You don't really need to mess around with that. So then you just press 1 on the number of walls, it generates the first wall, you increase the length, generate another wall, increase the length, so on and so forth, as you can see. It's pretty good at following around. It can come out of shape, but just concentrate on getting all the external walls filled in. If it goes the other direction, just go minus. On your last wall, just go up to the top right and press close walls. Now we can concentrate on just sorting out these couple of walls that got out of whack slightly. Just go down on the wall numbers on the right and just reduce and increase the length of the walls that are causing the issues. But there were just 3 walls there, and look, perfect. So now we've done all the external walls. As I said, concentrate on those first. We can concentrate on the internal walls. So just go down on that toolbox on the right, click room, then we've got another wall. Tap G, move it on the X-axis, tap G, move it on the Y-axis, get it into place. Tap R, Z, so it just swings round, doesn't move up or down. and 180 on the keypad, and then it makes it turn 180 degrees and in the other direction. We'll just do the same again. We only need one wall there. We just tap room again, get another wall for the other walls. As you can see, it's quite easy to do. Oh, need to rotate it back around the other direction. You can make it a little bit easier when we're rotating the walls. I'll just show you in a moment. Yeah, the extra length there. It's gone a little bit out. I'm just going to tap G, X, and just move it along the X axis slightly, and it brings it back into place. Now here, if you tap the control button, as you can just see there, I've done it quite quickly, but it snaps into place, so it slowly rotates around. So if you tap R, Z, and then hold control, it will slowly snap into place. So we're just doing our last wall now. There you go. Now I know the video sped up, but obviously it is quite a quick process. Just select all these, and then you can tap H, and that hides the walls. You can still see the skirting boards at the moment. So let's go around and do the doors now. When you tap door, it will generate a door group. You need to move the entire door group rather than each item, because otherwise you'll start to have problems. So just as long as you've got the door group at the top right here selected, you'll be able to move it along your axes, and then within the group you just select door frame, and then you can actually alter the width, the height of the door, the rotation. If there's two doors, I'll show you that in a moment. But as you can see here, if we go into wireframe mode, we go to the top right, X-ray mode on, we'll go into wireframe mode so we can see through. And then as you can see, there's two handles for the doors, so that tells you that that door needs to be rotated 180 degrees, so it's in line with the arc of where the door should be opening. So R, Z, 180, and then it just rotates it 180 degrees. Make sure you got the door group selected for that again. So we just change the width slightly. If you put the rotation in the actual group itself, it will save it. That was my bad. That was something for you to look out for. You need, with the door frames, if you're gonna start modifying the door, you have to actually select the door frame and rotate it in the correct direction. If you start altering the width and everything, it will just go back to what its original rotation was. Now here, if you just select on the door group, right click and select hierarchy, right click, copy, paste, and paste it in there, and then you'll have a duplicate of that door. G, then press Y, and then move it down on the Y axis, and then you can rotate it and then bring it in on the X axis. Then you've got a duplicate of that door. Just make sure that you click the correct group, because you can have issues with this. Just click the group, then right click, make sure you tap the select hierarchy so it selects everything within that group. So you duplicate the entire thing. You'll see, yeah, just showing you here. Obviously, where I'm dragging out these lines, that's where you can. That's the sort of problem that you can have. So as you can see, I've gone into the door frame. I've selected the door, and now I'm rotating it. You'll know which item to select. You have to go within that door group, and then click the door frame, and it will actually come up with options for you to be able to alter it. Just each time you want to move it, just make sure you're selecting the entire door group. Select hierarchy, copy, paste, move it along. Here is where we're going to add the double doors. There's just an option on the right. If we go into the door group, select the door frame, we can make obviously the door bigger, bigger and smaller. We can duplicate the door, put it over the other side, but you've also got the option to have the double doors. I'm just going to show you this way first. Obviously it's totally up to you, but it is longer this way. You'll see just a moment. Go to the top right, change to both sides. So you got right side, left side, both, and look, you see the double handles. We can just get rid of the other single door. Both sides, you might get remnants of the old model left in place, just get rid of it. Increase the width, move it over, there you go, you got your double doors. Here's staircase. Now just gonna tap stairs. All these different options at the bottom left, you can change the number of staircases, the width, the style. What I would suggest is you do everything you need, the number of stairs and the height, when you generate it, because once you move the stairs, unfortunately you can't change the number of stairs and the height and everything. So even if you do it the once and you see, oh, I need an extra couple of stairs or whatever, then just generate a new set, delete that one, generate a new set of stairs, and then obviously try again. That's the only problem. As soon as you move the model, the bottom left options for you to alter the stairs disappear, unfortunately. Let's add some windows. We're going to go for the rail windows. Same again with this window group. You got to grab the group and just slide them into place. And again, you can change the width, the thickness. They've got window sills. It's quite good actually. Makes it really easy. And just click the group, move it up where you want it. Change the width. There's another set of windows as well, I'll show you in just a second. They could be turned into quite long doors with big planes of glass in them, front doors, back doors, and triple and quadruple windows, and there's quite a few options that you can play around with, but we're just gonna change the width on this set of windows in just a moment. I'm going to add in the panel windows I was just mentioning, and you can just change the height, the width, add more windows, add more thickness to the frame. Remember, rotate it within the group, and then you've got the sill at the bottom. You can change the thickness and the length of the windowsill, or it could be like a bit of a sill at a bottom, like a step at the bottom of some PVC doors or something. This is where you can change it to different doors, but as you can see, we can't see the doors and the windows through the model at the moment, but we'll sort that out in just a moment. Just gonna click on the window group, click on the window frame, rotate it, because remember we need to do it in that setting. G, X axis, G, Y axis, move it down, put it into position. You can even just press scale and scale it up on the X or Y axis and make it thicker. As you can see there, I've literally just clicked. You click on the walls and you go down to auto holes, and that removes, as you can see, the planes that are getting in the way of the windows and the doors. You can play around with a lot of these options, but I'm just going to add in another set of those panel windows. And as you can see that you can have windows at the top of it as well, whatever look you're trying to achieve. I'm sure there's an option on here for it. Into wireframe mode, and just S, scale on the Y axis, scale on the X axis slightly. And then we just grab the door group, move it over. Right click on the window group again, select hierarchy, copy, paste, and then we've got our perfect duplicate. Move it over on the X axis, and there we go. If you just want to go around and scale anything up and just tweak anything that you feel is a bit out and doesn't look right, You can just generate a quick roof, change the length, change the width for the tiles, change the rotation. But if you just want a bird's eye view, this is perfect anyway. If you want to rotate the doors, just tap on the door, select it like an item, and then on the left, as you can see, I just tapped on the rotate symbol, and you can just go around rotating the doors if you want. On the right here, if you see, I've just tapped on show. This shows the measurements of all the walls and everything, and then you just tap these little these other options to hide the number of walls, etc. Then you've got this measurement tool on the left. If you tap on that, you can literally just go around and measure in the vertices, so you can go around the corners, holding control on the keyboard, just go to the closest corner, and it will, your mouse will sort of like snap into place, and then just drag it to the next corner and it will measure in meters for you, so you'll be able to see that everything's pretty much measuring up. Now we could just import our airlocks. I've just imported the airlock poles and the airlock blue polythene collection, so then I get all the parts that are within that collection. We'll import some more bits in just a moment. You can import everything or all at the start, stick it to the side, and just bring each thing in as you go, and then just whatever you don't use at the end, just delete them all. You just grab one of them. I have forgot the airlock poles, I will grab them in a second. You can grab them together, but I'm just going to move this into place. I'm going to rotate it on the Z axis. Just going to make just a really easy enclosure, just to give you an idea. See, it's going through the door a little bit there, so we can just tap the door, hit delete, tap the frame, hit delete. You can see our flap then, because we have got other angle airlocks, airlock poles, and the polythene. We've cut out different sides for you to use. I'm just gonna place the airlock poles back in that. The reason why they're separate objects is because when you look, so I can tap on the polythene, tap H, you can hide the polythene, and then tap Shift, click the poles. Alt H will unhide the polythene, and then you can drag them around, and then you've got both of them, because you've shift selected the airlock poles underneath as well. You just drag them, bring them into place, make them all level. But yeah, the reason why they're separate is because of that reason. We can just tap H, and then you can still see the airlock poles. As you're about to be able to see by the airlock poles, they are meter by meter by 2 meters tall, the standard ones, and then we've got the smaller ones as well. Always append. Obviously, I'm just going up and going into File, Append. always append our models. So you can go into append, find the folder, go down to collections, and then just load each collection or what you need, or you can just select all the collections. I'd rather you append them because this keeps the file integrity safe, just for the sheer fact that if you do want to scale and change and edit around the models slightly to your needs, if you link the models instead of appending, then it will alter the original file. So it might mess up the scaling or whatever, depending on what you're trying to do with it. But as you can see here, we've got sheets of polythene. I'm just going to grab a sheet of polythene. And anything we got here as well that you need duplicates of, it's just Shift D, and then you've got straight away you've got a copy of it. But we're going to stick some polythene, just for the fun of it. Let's stick some polythene over the windows. Just move it into place. Hit S for scale, and then scale it on the X-axis. Make it wider, and then tab it Shift D to duplicate it, and then we're just gonna just for the fun of it, we're gonna represent some polythene on the floor. So the only problem is it will make the floor quite shiny, so we might have to hide it. But if you see sometimes anything just disappear and then reappear, it's me hiding and unhiding things. So that's H, and then to unhide something is Alt H. If you click this button at the top right, you can put a ceiling in. So just tap the external walls, because we closed the building within that. Tap the external walls, and you can tap the ceiling, and then you can even tap the floor as well. If we go and have a look inside the building, you'll be able to see that we've got a floor now, we've got a ceiling, and we can tap on and off the ceiling. So you can take pictures within the building and all sorts. So now we're going to show our PowerPoint. Just going to drag in one of our transformers. Then we've got a symbol for our water that we're going to drag over. Just drag the droplet. Sometimes you might select the W that's on it for representing water. It is bright blue as well, as you can see there. So it is very visible. But just tap the actual object, the droplet, rather than the W. If you tap the droplet, the W will move with it. If you tap the W will just go off. But it's not a problem. Just if you have any issues, press the right click button on the mouse or Control Z and just undo. I'm just going to show you how to use the ducting at the moment. We have got another video where I'll show you how to use the arrows and everything, which is the exact same way. Just tap the actual object itself, the ducting, tap hide H, and then you will see the curve that controls the shape of the ducting. It has a modifier in it. On the right, there's as you can see, there's a spanner. Within that, it has an active modifier array, and it follows a curve. So if you alter the curve, and the curve gets quite long, then you just up the count on the array. I'll show you in a moment. But if you grab these vertices in edit mode, so you select the line, you can press tab or top left where it says object mode, just go down into edit mode, and then click these little dots, and you can move the curve, and then when you press tab or go back into object mode and then Alt H to show the ducting again, you can see the shape of the ducting changing. And then if it's a bit short, you can go, as I said, into the spanner like I just did just then, and turn the count up, and it makes more of that object to follow along the curve. It totally depends on how much you want to mess around with something like this, but I'm just trying to show you quick, like make it fit in better. There we go. I think I'm happier with that. Click on it, look, and just change the count. Alright. And then you can tap Shift A and then Mesh and just tap Plane. You can stick a plane underneath. There can be your floor. I'm going to show you, I want to make a path and a road. So with the plane selected, nothing else, just go into edit mode. So either tab on the keyboard or top left, change into edit mode. And then Control R will bring up, if you move your mouse around, you'll end up getting a line going right down the face. Just tap that, move it along, make a loop cut, go on the other side, Control R, find the horizontal line, tap that, move it along. Then you can go to the top left, change into faces mode. Then because we've loop cut these, we can tap on each of the faces and change the colors. So all you do is in edit mode of the plane, just go down to that little world button on the bottom right and change the colors and just tap the sign. So anything that you cut up, you can make different anything you cut up, you can make different colors. So I'm not going to do absolutely everything, but I'm going to pretty much get one sorted. I'm not going to do the buckets inside the airlocks and everything. Yes, you can move it in the airlocks. They can be seen in the airlocks. You can also put the red bags in the airlocks. I'm going to show you the vision panels. We also got all sorts of tape that a typical asbestos company might use. You can apply that to all the enclosure, all the area around the Harris fencing. You can do it all around the airlocks, but I'll leave you guys to do more of that with your enclosures. I've got we do offer videos, video creation services. If you ever do want us to create a business promotion video with all these assets, as you can see, it's a great option to clearly show different pieces of the area. Now when they append the CCTV kit, as you can see, there's a bunch of different cameras. I'm just going to show you just for education purposes. Obviously the V that's there is just represent the view, and we just scaled it up a bit because it can get a bit small. So when you're in like 2D or bird's eye view, it can get a little bit difficult to see some of the items, but we've tried our best to help it look as good as possible. I'm just going to show you again, it's similar to the ducting, but I'm just going to show you with the waste route and transit route arrows. Just going to straighten them out. Obviously, I raised it above the surface so I can see exactly where I'm going to have to try and angle them. You just play around with these on the X and Y axis. If you select the vertices and you R rotate on the Z and then G move on the X and Y, you're not going to have any problems. It's going to keep it all level on the same plane, on the same level. And then just move it. Try not to select other things. If you do, just Control Z. Then same again. We just need to move some of these vertices back so it's going through the door. And then you just tap, just like the ducting. You go onto the modifiers, that spanner, and then turn the count up. And it follows that line. And then we just do the same with the blue arrows. So if you click and drag as well, you should be able to bulk select vertices as well. If you want to extend these curves, you just press E for extrude and then X or Y to go out on a certain axis, and that just extends the curve. And then you can carry on modifying. Just keep moving around on the G and Y, G, Y and X axis. Then grab both of them, G and Z, sorry, G and Z, move them down. If you press 0, you can go into camera on your number pad, and then to make sure that you can move around like you're moving around normally, just go into view on the right side there, and I just showed you. Make sure that camera tick box is ticked, so then you can move around while you're in camera mode, otherwise it's stationary. If you grab the light, this little icon over here is a light. You've got a few different options: area, spotlight, sun. Use the sun, but we're going to go with area at the moment. I'll show you it with the sun in just a second. Just going to get a rendered image. We've just got our first rendered image. Now I've just changed the colour of the main area to make it a little bit darker, made the walls a bit darker, but I'm going to change the light to sun and turn it right down to just 6. And then if you want to turn the shadows off, just tap on the little light icon on the right, and then turn the shadows off and on. There you go, a full asbestos enclosure drawing. Doesn't look bad, does it? Now you can just grab a cube, Shift A, remember, change the colour of it, turn it red. You can use this to represent the asbestos in the area as well if you want. Then just get your photos, and then in this camera here you can hide the polythene, go up to the top, render image, and then you've got your professional asbestos enclosure photos for your RAMs. Like and subscribe if you want to see more, and if you've got any questions about our models or you want to buy any, the links are in the description. Thank you very much.